Our chatbot, IMDb bot, plays the role of a friend who carries a conversation with the user over movies. Thus, our chatbot's conversational topic is about any movie available on IMDb. Since assignment 2, our program has improved by a lot, and we have improved the overall system by involving new features. One of them is the chatbot incorporation. The incorporation of chatbot has been used to improve the overall system because it allows there to be a generated response that can be used to respond to the user if something in the program goes wrong, causing no output. This is done through training the bot. The second feature is POS tagging. Part of speech tagging was implemented in order to improve the overall flow of the conversation with the user. POS tagging recognizes and tags the different part of speech in order for the conversation to run smoother. The third feature is synonym recognition. The incorporation of synonym recognition also allows for a better conversation flow. Our synonym recognitions provide a more flexible way for the program to call different functions as well as for the user to communicate with the bot since now the user is no longer restricted to certain words in order to launch a specific functions. The fourth function is name entity recognition. The use of name entity recognitions provides the program with better overall functionality, especially in terms of calling functions and finding movies, names, and companies that might be present in the user initial input. This provides a much easier way for the pieces of information to be extracted and used. The final function is spelling mistake handling. Incorporating spelling mistakes handling allows for the overall program to function better. This is because without fixing spelling errors in the user input, the code might break and as a result, there would be several errors. This also makes the conversation flow better and is less restrictive in terms of what the user can input in order to get a desired output. For this assignment, we have created two data flow diagrams, level 0 and level 1. This level 0 diagram illustrates the system as a single process with its relationship to external entities, including the user, the system itself, and the Python libraries and APIs. On application start, the system provides a prompt for the user to begin interaction. The diagram labels are numbered according to the order in which they occur after the system receives a reply from the user. This level 1 diagram demonstrates the program's flow starting with the prompt shown to the user from the IMDb bot process. Once the user inputs data, the flow runs through the IMDb bot process where it will decide which process it must run through next. When it runs through the spelling handler process using the user input, it also retrieves from the word data storage before returning the spell checked user input to the IMDb bot process. When the data runs through the synonym recognition, it also uses the user input in order for it to run the synonym recognition to the IMDb bot process. Once the name entity recognition processes runs by using the user input, it will also run through the name entity recognition trainer in order to perform natural language processing. Then the name entity recognition sends an array of data back to the IMDb bot process to be processed further. The IMDb bot may also send requests to the film, company, user, and person processes for the respectful data which will return the data to the IMDb bot process. The IMDb bot process will also launch the GUI process to retrieve data as well as output data to the user. The GUI is also linked to the team repository on GitHub, which will display the project's README to the user. The IMDb bot process will also launch POS tagging for the user's input using its respective database to do this. The IMDb bot process is also connected to the chatbot trainer process, which trains itself to respond to the user when needed. The project management tool used for this project was Trello. A new card was created which represent each task, and each of the tasks were assigned people and a due date. Everyone was responsible for creating the list of limitations for the code in the project plan and reviewing this video presentation before submission. As of our individual responsibility, as you can see on the screen, Francisco tasks are displayed with an image icon on each card. And Francisco was responsible for creating a new team repository within the team GitHub for this assignment, incorporating chatbot into the program, performing functions and syntax refactoring on the program, updating the README file, adding to the data flow diagram, and helping with the unit testing. Odwin's tasks are displayed with his initial OT on each card. Odwin was responsible for creating the GUI, creating the spelling mistake handler for the program, incorporating named entity recognition, spell check, and synonym recognition in the IMDb bot file. He also helped with unit testing and creating the unit testing's summary case. Veronica's tasks are displayed with her own picture on each card. Veronica was responsible for creating the GUI, creating the name entity recognition, incorporating name entity recognition, spell check, and synonym recognition in IMDb bot, creating the Trello cards, creating the project report, and creating the level 0 data flow diagram. Monica's tasks are displayed with a smiley face icon on each card. And Monica was responsible for creating the synonym recognition, incorporating name entity recognition, spell check, and synonym recognition in IMDb bot. She created the level 1 data flow diagram, provide the sample output in the project plan, and writing the script for this video. Karan's tasks are displayed with his initial KG on each card. Karan was responsible for designing the test cases for major functions, performing unit testing, creating summary document for test cases, and creating the video presentation. For GitHub, across both Assignment 2 and Assignment 3, Francisco has a total of 31 commits, Orwin has a total of 24 commits, Veronica has a total of 14 commits, and Monica has a total of 23 commits. Monica was accidentally using two different GitHub accounts during this assignment, thus her overall number of commitment was 23, while Karan has total of 7 commits. This is the timeline of each branch created, and each branch represents a feature. As you can see on the screen, it started on March 15. This timeline also shows when it was merged into the main branch.